Hey everyone, welcome back. The other day, I was at the gym doing some cardio, and one of the TVs had Fox News on. And occasionally I would look over just to see what the headlines were, see if there was anything I wanted to follow up on, and at one point, I looked over and there was a political ad playing. Donald Trump was attacking Ron DeSantis for, at some point, supporting this fringe idea that pops up every so often in Republican politics about replacing all federal taxes with a 23 to 30% sales tax. And while that's a pretty normal topic for an ad, the ad itself blew me away. Because it wasn't the normal grave voice that goes something like, Ron DeSantis wants to raise your taxes, taking money out of your pocket and giving it to the swamp. Instead, it was a children's sing-along. It was set to the tune of Old MacDonald, this really cartoony animation with a cutout of Ron DeSantis' face over this farmer, and even had the bouncing ball to help you follow along with the words. And my first reaction was, wow, that is childish even for Donald Trump. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that, no, Donald Trump isn't being childish. He just thinks that his voters are children. One of the most important rules in advertising is to always tailor your ads to your intended audience. A great example of this is car commercials. When you see ads for a luxury car, they're usually very glamorous. You have well-dressed people driving in the city, maybe arriving at some sort of club or other form of nightlife. But on the other hand, when you see truck commercials, you see people dressed up for work, either out in the woods or on a job site, trying to make you think that this truck is durable, hardworking, reliable. And when it comes to political ads, a lot of the times people are trying to reach an adult audience, as you gotta be 18 to vote. Especially when you're on Fox News, which definitely has an older audience. So that's why most political ads we see have that kind of very grave tone. You get that voiceover, very serious, talking about, the issues, saying either my opponent's policy would be bad, this is why it's bad, or my policies would be good, this is why they're good. And yeah, you can't fit in a ton of nuance in a 30-second ad, but they do their best to treat their audience like adults and say, yes, here's the basics, you can look into it more if you want. However, this was a political ad that, if I didn't know better, I would say was actually written for children. It's bright, it's cartoony, it has that bubbly, fractionally off-key sing-song voiceover that we see a lot in children's sing-alongs. And the topic was presented in a very simple way. There was a silly man with a silly name, Ron DeSantis, and everything was just focused on repetition. All you need to know is that Ron DeSantis is going to raise your taxes. And it was repeated over and over and over. And every single aspect of this ad, from the bright colors to the bouncing ball that reminded you where you're supposed to be looking, to that really catchy tune of Old MacDonald in the background so that it would just worm its way in your head and stick there the way it does with small children. Again, I just thought this was an ad for children as opposed to the Fox News audience, which I'm sure is a little bit older. However, it's not just the style of this ad that seems to insult the intelligence of its intended audience, but the content as well. Now, yes, it's true that Ron DeSantis did at some point endorse this national sales tax idea. But so is basically every other Republican, including Donald Trump. At this point, I think it's just a rite of passage to become a member of the Republican Party. You have to bring it up in a positive way during a conversation at some point during your political career. But when we look at are Republicans actually going to implement it, it's a lot like repeal and replace Obamacare. We're going to talk about it a lot, but we're never actually going to do anything about this because we know it's a bad idea. And this is easy to get information. I think it took me a minute to Google this, because I just Googled DeSantis national sales tax. And I got all the pieces saying, yeah, this is not actually a thing Ron DeSantis supports. So, not only is Trump talking to his base as if they were children, he's also thinking that they're not smart enough to Google what he just said to learn more. And then that they can't read the articles Google would show them and figure out that, oh yeah, DeSantis doesn't actually support this. So, given this ad, I can't say that Donald Trump thinks too highly of his supporters. Instead of speaking to them like the adults they are, he thinks the best way to get their attention is to treat them like children. Give them something bright, shiny, catchy, and frankly very repetitive in order to make sure that they get the message that he wants them to see. He doesn't think they're going to look too deeply into it either, given the fact that everything he said was pretty easy to disprove. It seems like he doesn't want his followers to actually consider the issues during this primary, but that he just wants them to be good little boys and girls and follow the bouncing ball. Think about it.